So what is a TRIS? You've probably heard the word TRIS before and wondered what it is and what it means. Well, TRIS is the acronym for Transition to Retirement Income Stream. And to put it simply, that is exactly what it is. That is, it's an income stream that you can access before you retire. There are a couple of conditions before you can start accessing your super as a TRIS. The first is that the income stream is non-commutable. That means that you can't take the balance as a lump sum when it ceases. Instead, it needs to revert back to the accumulation phase. The next two catches are that there are both minimum and maximum withdrawal amounts. You must withdraw a percentage based on age as a minimum each year. Currently, this is 4% of the balance at the start of the year. You also cannot withdraw any more than 10% of your account balance. Finally, not everybody can start a TRIS. You must have reached your preservation age. For those born before 1 July 1960, this is 55, and it rises each year until those born after 30th of June 1964, for which it will be 60. So what about tax? You've probably heard that superannuation pensions aren't taxable. This is a half-truth and depends on your age. While superannuation pensions paid to people over 60 are currently not taxable, a lot of people accessing some super through a TRIS are between 55 and 60 years old, so they do have to pay tax on the pensions they receive. However, if the pension is partly made up of a tax-free element, this might have arisen if you contributed after-tax monies to super at some point in time, this portion is not taxable. The tax portion, which is what most people's superannuation is made up of, is taxable at your marginal rate. However, you will receive a 15% tax offset for the tax that your fund has paid on that income over time. Of course, any amounts that you draw out once you are 60 will be tax-free under the current rules. There's also the additional benefit that your fund won't pay tax on the earnings that are attributable to the pension balance. So do you have to actually retire? The theory behind TRIS is that you can slowly reduce your work hours as you transition into retirement without having to necessarily reduce your income. The thought is that by accessing a TRIS, you can maintain the same income until you decide to permanently retire. However, despite the theory, there is actually no condition that you reduce your work hours or retire within a set amount of time. Although if you're wanting to access more than 10% of your super, you will need to either have reached age 65 with no need to retire, or retired and met your preservation age. For a lot of people, a TRIS may work where you salary sacrifice back into super from your pre-tax salary. This is because you effectively get a reduction in your taxable income by salary sacrificing, but make up cash flow by drawing a TRIS that may be partially tax-free. Real benefits of this strategy come once you turn 60 and the TRIS is 100% not taxable. For example, Andy is 55 and earns $100,000 per year. He wants to keep working full-time for another few years and has $220,000 in super. So firstly, he transfers most of his super to an account-based pension. This saves money as he no longer pays tax on investment earnings. Secondly, he salary sacrifices a large amount into super. This saves income tax but reduces his take-home pay. So lastly, he withdraws up to 10% of his pension balance each year, which boosts his overall income back to his current level. So you can see in this slide, Andy ends up just over $2,300 better off in the first year. He does this by salary sacrificing to super and drawing a TRIS. The extra savings means that he will have more money in super when he does eventually fully retire. So as with anything with super, it's always complex. So we suggest that you seek some advice on your circumstances. And if you do have any other questions, feel free to contact our office.